To see, as always, why not believe it? I mean, it's been a pretty powerful bounce.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if we just take a step back and just look at kind of the simplest definition of trend, I think a lot of people just continue to want to fight what we view as a pretty established downtrend. I mean, if you're talking about the S&P 500, peaked at 4,800 in January, we made a lower high 4,600 in March, and then another lower high 4,350 in August, and here we are at 4,000. So we're still 350 points below the August high, and yet there's a lot of talk about this new sustainable market. But I think, when you do take a step deeper, obviously, and we want to look more than just at the surface, you look at what's going on under the trend, it continues to be, by all accounts, a somewhat defensive-led rally. And one of the things we can look at is the relative performance of the Dow Jones Industrial Average relative to the S&P 500. That's still, even after the two-day underperformance last week, the Dow is still outperforming the S&P by 6.5% from early October. So that trend has been in place for a while. And if you look at the major bear market bottoms, whether we're talking about 1982, 2002, 2009, or most recently March of 2020, all of those consistently saw the Dow underperform the S&P. So we're seeing the opposite right now. Again, not saying maybe it's different this time, but by our work, we're still a bit skeptical here.
Well, I mean, maybe it is different this time. Are you fully appreciating enough the move from growth to value? It would obviously show up in the kind of metric that you're sort of throwing water on.
Well, we do think small cap value actually, should do fairly well here. It's kind of been underperforming for the last 4 or 5 years. Your previous guest talked about some similarities and analogies to 2000 to 2002, which we think are applicable. And small cap value actually did very well then. But again, if we're talking Dow Jones, which is, yes, it's value, but it's also, the largest component right now is UNH, which is, pretty defensive. If we're talking purely on the Dow, it just doesn't feel or look historically like a lot of bull market, the new bull markets.